So, hi everybody, this is Everyday Commentary, and this is a video overview of something I'm going to talk a little bit about. But for now, I just want to show you, we're working on making a gaming table. We have a table that we used for like Thomas the Train toys when the boys were little. And now that they're no longer doing Thomas the Train stuff, I thought I would convert it into like a gaming table. So there's the cap that's going to go on the table. And then the Thomas the Train insert that I built is actually going to be taken out, and that's going to go in its place. This is just a piece of 1/2-inch plywood with felt on it, so we can have like a nice surface for gaming. I thought it would be fun to film something at a different location, because normally I'm over there. But this is a video. I'm going to talk a little bit about user interfaces on flashlights. So the first flashlight up here is, this is the Malkoff Cosin VME, and it has a relatively standard UI. So what happens in a UI like this is it has mode memory, but you full press, turn it on, then you quickly compress and increase the light without doing a full press. So just there. Okay. So the advantage of this is that it has 3 modes, all of which can be accessed with 1 button, and all of which you can access from on or from off. And that means that if I want it to come on in the lowest brightness level, which I always do, I will set the flashlight to the lowest brightness level before I turn it off. So now it's on the lowest brightness level. 1, 2, 3, full click. Now it's in mode memory. And I can now get the light on in the lowest brightness level. You could set it at any one of the 3 brightness levels. I always set it at low, so if I'm using the light at night, it doesn't take away my night vision. But that's a lot of button clicking. You have to remember to do it. You have to click through the buttons. And this user interface, which is pretty standard across, most enthusiast grade flashlights. It's not the like tapathon that you get, like actions per minute flashlights for like the Gizmo lights out there, but it gets you a pretty good user interface that you can get to high, or you can get to any mode from off. The big problem is you can't get to the modes directly from off. You have to go to the first mode, and then you can go through the cycle, low, medium, high. But you can't go, for instance, from off to high or off to low at the same time. And so there are a lot of UIs out there that allow you to do something like that, but some of them are pretty crappy. The 3 lights that you see besides the VME are the lights that I think do this the best. And so you have the HDS Rotary, the Synergy LT3, and you have the Exceed Designs Rampant. So let's go through these and talk about them a little bit. So the HDS Rotary has been for a long time, and for good reason, the gold standard for user interfaces and flashlights. This is a rotary dial flashlight, which means that the light is controlled by a rotation of the tail cap. And so what you do is you activate the light, and this, first of all, has an exceptionally low, which is one of the reasons why this light is still in rotation 10 years later. But it has a very low, and you can ramp it up as you have the light on. But the cool thing about the rotary is you can have the light come on any level of illumination you want. You can have it come on high. You can rotate it around to the other side where the pin, from where the pin is. Come on medium, you can come on low. You can do anything in the middle, and you can do this with the light being off. And that is a super useful feature, because if you're fumbling around in the dark at night, you don't want to steal your night vision. You don't have to turn the light on and then set it to the level you want. You set the light whatever level you want, and then it comes on in that level. Super, super great UI. I still think this is probably the best, but the other 2 I'm about to show you give it a good run for its money. So the Rampant is similar. It has a switch and then a level control device. Now, the rampant is a little different. You cannot get it to come on in any one particular mode. You can get it to come on in the last mode it was in. But the light comes on in medium, and then you double click down, and it goes to low, which by the way is not as low as the HDS rotary, or double click high, and it comes on in high. Now, if you turn the light off, it will have mode memory and it will come on in high and low. So it is a little bit like the VME in that you can only get it to come on directly to one light level. But once the light is on, it is very, very simple to control the light output on the VME or on the Exceed lights rampant. So I typically leave it in the lowest mode that's not moonlight mode. Moonlight mode would double click down, and then you turn it off, and then the light comes on in that mode. The big deal with this light is even though it can't do what the rotary does, which is to come on in any one particular level, it does give you the ability, because of the mode memory and the selection switch, to get to the modes really quickly and really easily. If you hand the Exceed Designs Rampant to a Flashlight Muggle and you tell them, here's how you do this, it's really easy. Same thing is true with the rotary. So like, don't get me wrong. I still think that the rotary is a little bit better than the Rampant, but it is very, very, very good. This light is also a little bit longer than the Rampant or the rotary, but not quite as wide. So like volume wise, it's probably the same. Good light, super cheap, 129 bucks for like a true enthusiast grade flashlight. All right, so you've seen the two with the unusual mode selection. Let's go to this light. And in many ways, this light I think is probably the most impressive design achievement because, again, it only has one button like the VME. But unlike the VME, you can do a lot with the button. So if you want to come on directly into high, double tap it, it comes on to high. If you want to come on in low, press and hold, and it comes on to low. That's basically the user interface you get on Olight lights, which is really kind of cool. It's not revolutionary, but here's where the Synergy does something a little different. Once the light is on, you hold the button and it'll ramp up, and then once it reaches the max, or you let your finger go and then press it down, and it'll ramp down again. So you can get from off to high and off to low without going through other modes. And once the light is on, you can select it in a ramp. This gives you a ton of control. A ton of control. So I always, like you said, I always keep my lights in moonlight mode. But here's the other cool thing. Unlike with the rotary, where you can't really do this one-handed, you need two hands to do this. You can do everything you want with the Freelux with one hand. On to low, on to high, on and then ramp up, on and then ramp down. And you've done it all with one hand, thanks to the design of the light and the design of the user interface. I think that if I had a gun to my head and I had to pick my favorite user interface, it would still be the rotary, because this light is a little difficult for flashlight muggles. But if you are not a flashlight muggle, but you still don't want to go to the APM gizmo lights, I think the Synergy represents a really great UI and a very good balance. And quite frankly, every light that has a clicky should function like the Synergy. If you're going to have just a clicky, that's the UI to use. It's very close to what you get with a Zebra light. It's very close to what you get with an Olight, but it's a little bit better in my opinion. It's better than the Olight because you have the ramping feature, and it's better than the Zebra because you have the ramping feature and you don't have the chance of falling into one of the random program modes. None of these lights, fortunately, none of them have program modes, which I find super annoying because sometimes you're fooling around and you accidentally fall into a program mode that you don't want to be in. But for the flashlight world at circa 2025, these are my favorite UIs out there. If I was talking about a twisty, my favorite twisty would be the one that I'm carrying today, which is this one. it is a twisty flashlight, which means it's automatically worse than the clickies. You need 2 hands to operate it. It's really not that simple. Twist to turn on, but then to switch modes, you have to do this like really fast twisting, which I just find to be a giant pain in the butt. But you're not going to find a clicky, except maybe the CWF Peanut that is this size. I mean, it's basically the size of the head for some of these other lights. So really good light. I like this light a lot. I carry it all the time. This is probably my closest thing to like my palette cleansing light. If I'm testing lights or if I'm testing gear and I don't want to have to think about what else I'm carrying, I carry this light just because it's pretty capable. I can take it for a walk at night and get a little bit of throw, but it's also small enough to fit in my pocket. As you can see, I've carried it an absolute ton. I mean, the anodizing is worn completely off here and it's starting to wear off there. But I actually like the way it looks and it carries super great. So I really like this light despite its user interface. But if we're talking about UIs and we're not worried about size or carryability, those are the lights that I would go to. I would definitely say that if you're not a flashlight muggle, the Synergy 3LT is where it's at. So kudos to Ben. Freelux is awesome. HDS is one of my favorites. Really impressed with both the Exceed and the Cosin lights. Those two are relatively new. But look for a review of the Cosin coming soon, the VME coming soon, and look for a review of the Exceed Rampant just coming out. So that's it.